Hey there, McCartney lovers. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the extraordinary career of one of the greatest musicians of all time, Sir Paul McCartney. Get ready as we count down his top 10 moments that have shaped music history. Hey everybody, CPO here from Maybe I'm Amazed. Sir Paul McCartney's illustrious music career has lasted over 6 decades and doesn't show any signs of slowing down. Often referred to as the most successful music artist of all time, the 81-year-old English-born composer has given us countless legendary moments, but these are the top 10 according to us. Starting at number 10, the Beatles Rooftop Concert. In 1969, the Beatles surprised fans and unsuspecting Londoners with an impromptu rooftop concert. From the top of the Apple Corps building, it was a moment of pure magic as the Beatles performed some of their iconic hits from the Let It Be LP, bringing the city to a standstill. The concert was filmed as part of a documentary called Let It Be. Unused footage, along with the original, was later restored and used in the 4-part Disney documentary called Get Back. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Coming in at number 9, McCartney gets arrested in Japan. Paul McCartney's arrival at Tokyo's Narita International Airport on January 16, 1980, marked his first visit to Japan since the Beatles tour of 1966. The occasion was a planned 11-city concert tour by his band Wings. Instead, Paul's visit was limited to a 9-day stint in the Tokyo Narcotics Detention Center, which ended on January 25, 1980. McCartney was found to be carrying nearly half a pound of marijuana in his baggage upon arrival at Narita, an amount that Paul would later assure Japanese authorities was intended solely for his personal use. The amount was large enough, however, to warrant a smuggling charge and a potential 7-year prison sentence. Given Japan's reputation for rigorous enforcement of its strict anti-drug laws, it was by no means a foregone conclusion that McCartney would escape trial and possibly imprisonment. Yet he was released and quickly deported from Japan on January 25, 1980, prior to making any appearance in court. Number 8, the formation of Wings. Following the breakup of the Beatles, Paul McCartney released the albums McCartney in 1970 and Ram in 1971. However, he wanted to avoid long stretches away from his wife, Linda McCartney, whom he married in 1969. Having her tour with him and perform on stage would solve many of the problems that befall marriages in the world of popular music. So he taught her to play keyboards, and they formed a new band. He invited guitarist Denny Laine, former Moody Blues member and longtime friend, as well as Ram session drummer Denny Sewell, to join. The band, which McCartney named Wings, recorded their first album, Wildlife, in 1971, in 8 days to give it a live feel. The record, however, received mostly mediocre reviews from critics. In 1972, guitarist Henry McCulloch joined Wings, and the band decided to embark on a tour to establish themselves. They avoided playing Beatles songs and only performed in small clubs and colleges in the United Kingdom. Wings went through several different lineup changes over the years, including adding lead guitarist and my friend, Laurence Juber. Paul McCartney and Wings went on to release numerous chart-topping hits and embark on several successful world tours before McCartney disbanded the group in 1981. Number 7, Paul McCartney's Super Bowl halftime show. In 2005, Paul McCartney took the stage during the Super Bowl halftime show, captivating millions with his timeless classics, including a monumental, pyrotechnic-driven performance of his Wings hit, Live and Let Die, and proving that his music transcends generations. Number 6, the release of Band on the Run. Paul McCartney's Band on the Run album, released in 1973, showcased his songwriting genius and became an instant classic, solidifying his career outside of the Beatles. Number 5, Paul McCartney's Glastonbury performance. In 2004, Paul McCartney headlined the iconic Glastonbury Festival, delivering a legendary performance that left the audience in awe and solidified his status as a music icon. At number 4, Paul McCartney's Carpool Karaoke. In 2018, Paul McCartney joined talk show host James Corden for an unforgettable carpool karaoke session, taking us on a nostalgic journey through his hometown of Liverpool. his songs, and creating a charming, lighthearted moment that fanned the flames of his already legendary career. At number 3, the Beatles album, Sgt Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. The release of the Beatles' Sgt Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album in 1967 was a groundbreaking moment in music history. It pushed boundaries, revolutionized the concept of an album, and solidified the Beatles' place as cultural icons. Number 2, Paul McCartney meets John Lennon. On July 6, 1957, 16-year-old John Lennon met 15-year-old Paul McCartney. It was at St. Peter's Woolton's Parish Church in Liverpool, and John was playing with the Quarrymen at a church fete garden party. It was a Saturday afternoon, and Paul had gone along to the fete with his friend Ivan Vaughan to watch John's skiffle group, the Quarrymen. The group was made up of Eric Griffiths, Colin Hanton, Rod Davis, John Lennon, Pete Shotton, and Lynn Gary. The group took their name from Quarry Bank High School, which they all attended. The Quarrymen played on a makeshift stage in a field behind the church. John played the guitar and sang, while Eric Griffiths also played the guitar. Colin Hanton the drums, Rod Davies a banjo, Pete Shotton was on washboard, and Lynn Gary played the inevitable T-chess bass. Afterwards, John and Pete Shotton talked over whether or not to ask Paul to join the Quarrymen. They decided it would be a good idea, and a couple of weeks later, Shotton saw Paul riding his bike in Woolton and asked him to join. After a little thought, Paul agreed to become a member. And the rest, as they say, is history. And finally, at number 1, the Beatles perform on the Ed Sullivan Show. On Sunday, February 9th, 1964, the Beatles made their first live U.S. television appearance. More than 70 million Americans gathered around their televisions to watch 4 young men from Liverpool make history. Ed Sullivan, the king of Sunday night television, booked the Beatles for 3 appearances after seeing the response of fans during a visit to London. Before their debut on the show, the Beatles' record, I Wanna Hold Your Hand, was leaked to radio stations across the country. By January 10th, 1964, the album had sold more than 1 million units, and I Wanna Hold Your Hand was the number 1 song on the Billboard charts. Following the appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show, the phenomenon of Beatlemania swept the country. John, Paul, George, and Ringo secured their place in American hearts and spurred an invasion of British rock and roll that altered the face of popular music in the U.S. I was recently talking to my mother about her experience as a 10-year-old girl that night. She said her whole family used to watch Ed Sullivan every Sunday night. They crowded around the TV on that momentous occasion, and when the Beatles started to play, my mom and her sister Valerie screamed in excitement, much to her uptight grandfather's dismay, of course. She recalls that he was very annoyed by the Beatles' long hair and ability to seemingly possess his sweet grandchildren. My mom told me by the next week everyone at school was wearing Beatle boots. The girls wore white boots, and the boys wore black boots, just like the Beatles. And there you have it, folks. Paul McCartney's top 10 moments that have shaped the music landscape. Which moment was your favorite? Let us know down in the comments. Is there any moments that we missed? Let us know down in the comments. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you'll know when we're coming out with the next video. And just like always, everybody, peace and love.